Hello, my name is Kerriarth, and today we're going to talk about that 80-day countdown that has started. Haarken Worldclaimer has shown up, stuck his spear in the floor at Vigilus, and gone, this is going to be mine in 80 days. And it seems to be an actual, genuine 80-day countdown, which means something exciting should happen at the end of it. Hopefully, please, let's be faced, it will be very disappointed if nothing happens. Although, already, the 80-day thing, kind of weird, because as someone pointed out, I can't remember which site it was, someone pointed out that countdown ends on like a Tuesday or something. Generally speaking, the release schedule in terms of pre-orders and stuff for Games Workshop tends to be a weekend thing, so it could just be that the 80 days thing is symbolic, or it could not be 80 days, it might be shorter than that, and it's just going to do time skipping, jumping ahead here and there, or something big really is going to happen, and we're going to have a fancy new announcement, maybe, perhaps a preview or something, on the end of the countdown, probably for new Chaos models, but also potentially perhaps something to do with the next Vigilus book. I mean, we know there's more than one. At the moment we have Vigilus Defiant, which I still need to read through. I only got it today, I haven't had a chance. But there's going to be more to follow. Vigilus is not a one-off thing. It's quite a consistent battle at this point that's just going to be going on and on and on. And there's a lot of potential for stuff to come out of it, obviously, because it appears to have become the Dawn of War planet for the current timeline. Everyone's showing up, everyone's a piece of the action, which is good and also extremely excessive and makes it kind of difficult to work out where things might go next, because as it stands we have Space Marines, Eldar, Orcs, Genestealer cults, Chaos now. There's quite a considerable amount of stuff going on at Vigilus, so actually trying to predict future storylines is a little bit tricky because everyone and their mum has shown up on that planet. However, there is a couple of things that is probably guaranteed. The first is that we will actually see some new Chaos stuff, and that is not really I did see someone label it as a little bit of a rumor, but maybe it might not happen. We kind of already know that Chaos has got stuff coming. There's been consistent rumours for I don't know how long of a new Abaddon. There's been consistent rumours of new Mutilators/Obliterators. We've now got the new models from Blackstone Fortress. I remember to say Blackstone Fortress, not just Black Fortress, which I don't know why I keep doing that. We have the new Chaos models from Blackstone Fortress, which will see a standalone release at some point in their own box. So it's not really a massive stretch to be like, yeah, there's going to be new Chaos stuff. The thing that's interesting to me is the kind of specific nature of what we're going to see. Is it going to be a full line refresh, or is it just going to be some of the more of the aged stuff being replaced? I mean, Abaddon has been at the forefront of Gathering Storm and yet received no models and no rule change or anything like that. He's had no upgrade, effectively. He's the same as he's always been. Marnius Calgar, on the other hand, is now fully Primarist up, which kind of makes Abaddon feel even more in due for an upgrade than he was before. And he really was due an upgrade before, because the poor armless lad is looking really quite ancient at this stage. It would make absolute sense for him to show up, because Haarken Worldclaimer will obviously fail. That's the first, I think that's the main story thread that we should probably take away from this. Haarken Worldclaimer is not going to succeed in taking Vigilus, because Vigilus is going to be a battleground for some considerable time to come. It has the dubious honour, I suppose, of kind of being like a replacement Cadia, except it's, I would argue, a little bit worse off than Cadia was. Simply by dint of where it is and how important it is for providing safe passage from the Imperium into Imperium Nihilus. I mean, it's not exactly a great place to live right now, being that strategically important to seemingly everyone. So it's going to be around for a while. They're not going to introduce it as here is the latest world the Imperium absolutely has to defend at all costs. Oh, they've lost it. Okay. So, Worldclaimer is obviously going to fail. At which point, Abaddon is most likely going to show up, and he will have to be... I was going to say he'll have to be beefed up. I don't think that's fair. If he does show up and he doesn't get something new, it's going to feel really shitty. It's going to be not a good call. It will be not a good reading of the room should Abaddon the Despoiler show up to Vigilus after his chosen champion has failed to claim the world in his name. If he shows up and gets nothing, that's going to be kind of garbage. And having flicked through Vigilus Defiant, there's not, Chaos is not, this is not their time. Chaos is not having their time in the sun right now in terms of the Vigilus storyline. That is most likely going to be the next book. That's the thing that is kind of, I suppose, the thing to really wonder about is whether at the end of this countdown we're going to see just new Chaos models, or whether we're going to see some sort of actual combined release of some new Chaos stuff and like the announcement for the next Vigilus book. Having said that, to be honest, that would actually be quite a short time frame between those campaign books, so I don't know if we would see the next instalment in that kind of Vigilus storyline that early. That's the only thing that's making me a little bit confused. The 80 days thing has obviously been chosen specifically because at the end of that point something significant will happen. You know, that's the reason for it. It's not just... I don't think it's just been done for the sheer hell of it. It's a combination thing of building a crescendo, building a climax to this first part of the Vigilus story, whilst also providing something for us lot who are actually going to buy this stuff, giving us something to kind of speculate about and talk about as the countdown goes down. So it would make sense for something big to happen. It's just a case of what. I am kind of leaning just towards a kind of a culmination of the various rumours that we've seen of, Abaddon coming back, maybe some of the older Chaos Sculpts being redone finally, and the new Chaos Space Marines being released, the Blackstone Fortress ones, being released as their own box. That would all make absolute sense to me, and that would be the most kind of realistic option, I think, of all of them. I've already seen like people saying, oh, well, I mean, at the end of the 80 days, Angron's going to show up. Haarken Worldclaimer failing to claim Vigilus does not necessarily immediately make me think that Angron is going to appear and do the job himself, given that Worldclaimer's got nothing to do with him. That seems like a bit wish listy. I could see it happening in the future. I'm not going to lie. I mean, to be honest, Vigilus is shaping up to be a place where I think every excessively powerful character is probably going to pitch up at one time or another, because as soon as one turns up and starts beating the shit out of someone else is going to have to show up and try and deal with it, and then they're going to be slightly stronger, which means someone else is going to have to show up and be slightly stronger. There'll be some sort of showdown at the end of it. I'm absolutely sure of that. It's just what that showdown is. I suspect it'll probably be something to do with Guilliman, and one of his brother traitor Primarchs will have some sort of massive fight on the surface. That kind of would fit. Be a little bit disappointing. I'd like to see something a bit more surprising than that, but that kind of, it would fit the current trend of Guilliman fixes everything, which is not my favourite storyline in the world, but there you go. There is also a kind of interesting thing to add on to all of this, which is not specifically related to the countdown, but quite a while ago, I can't remember how long ago, and I'm sure there is a video about it on the channel, of a rumour that was floating around ages ago, before Sisters of Battle were even announced as being reworked. I think it's kind of hard to keep track of all the various stuff that gets sent both my way and just all over the internet as a whole. It's easy to lose track of rumours when they happen. But I remember seeing something quite a while ago, that specifically mentioned Black Legion versus Sisters of Battle as a possible starter box. Now, at the time, that was ludicrous and stupid, and there was no way, because Sisters of Battle were languishing in their metal-only, overpriced as hell, no one plays them, because why would you? Look how old they are, kind of state. But this introduction of Worldclaimer, this introduction of Haarken Worldclaimer, his kind of pivotal role in what will be Abaddon showing up to sort his subordinate shit out on Vigilus, because that's pretty much what's going to happen, and the fact that Sisters of Battle are being redone, that we're actually getting a full-on new range of Sisters of Battle, that kind of feels not quite as far-fetched anymore. It felt incredibly far-fetched at the time. It felt absolutely stupid at the time. There's no way it was going to happen. But now, with the benefit of knowing that Sisters of Battle are actually coming back, with the beta codex that we've seen in Chapter Approved, with the fact that we have new Chaos models in Blackstone Fortress, and now we have this Vigilus story thread that specifically have the Black Legion involved. That's the other thing as well. It's specific to Black Legion. It's not just any old random chapter. It's not one of the Chaos God dedicated chapters. It is Black Legion that is going to Vigilus. That's looking ever so slightly more likely. Now, I'm not going to obviously go, it's definitely going to happen now. Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely, sure, yeah, end of 2019, totally going to see that box. No, I'm not saying that. But that is one of those rumours that at the time was clearly bullshit, and somehow now has gained just that tiny semblance of being slightly possible. Slightly possible. Very much depends on the schedule for when Sisters are actually released, obviously. And I guess it does depend on the direction that the Vigilus storyline takes, but just something to think about, perhaps, as a potential thing for the future. I'm kind of liking the way they're doing this. The 80-day countdown, the introduction of a... Admittedly, at the time, I was like, oh, a named champion. Also, oh, it's no one we've heard of. Why have you done that? The introduction of a new and named champion that has a specific role that is a perfect gateway for kind of bringing reinforcements. I quite like that. It's kind of easy at the time to sit there and go, it's just one model. Why aren't you releasing a bunch of stuff? What is this? Like, who is this guy? But having him show up, do the whole I will claim this world in 80 days, and let's face it, that's kind of his thing. His last name is Worldclaimer, and I sincerely doubt that that was a name that was given to him by his parents. I'm assuming that is a earned title. Like when he was baptised, I named the Haarken Worldclaimer. He's obviously, that is what he does. So having a character with that kind of specific task or goal be the perfect gateway for Abaddon to show up with some fancy new Chaos Space Marines, fresh out of the mould, and maybe some new obliterators or mutilators, given that that is a rumour that we keep seeing circulating again. I actually quite like it. I quite like it. It's quite a nice way of doing it. It's an effective way of doing it. It gives the community a proper build-up to something. Now, the only thing is making sure that it's not disappointing at the end of the build-up. That's the difficult bit. That's the bit where things always seem to fall apart ever so slightly. But as strategies go for building up a release, I quite like this. And I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing where it goes. I mean, 80 days seems like a long time, but it's actually not. Like, it's relatively early in the new year we're going to see what's going on. It's only a couple of months. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting to see what they come out with. And I would be surprised if we do see a new book. But then again, if you're going to dump a whole new load of chaos stuff, sticking them in the new Vigilus book would make sense, unless you want to throw out another codex, but that seems a little bit unlikely. And of course, the other question is, where is Slaanesh in all of this? What's happened to all of those rumours? Where's all of that stuff? A new Fulgrim, new Noise Marines. We've got the anniversary one, yeah, but where's everything else that I kept seeing? Interesting. It's interesting the way these things are changing, and various rumours are coming and going and sort of slightly disproving each other. But yeah, it's going to be fun seeing what happens at the end of that countdown. And I can't wait to see how badly Worldclaimer fails, because he obviously will. Let me know what you think we're going to see at the end of the 80 days in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click any of the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all of that shit. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.